Hey everyone, the incel Vaush is unmasked. He finally admitted it. Vaush on why straight women don't seem to be into men. Well, shut up, incel, you misogynistic incel. Let's hear him in his diatribe.
Feel like gay guys appreciate me more than straight girls do?
Back up. Let's get it all the way from the start.
Why does it feel like gay guys appreciate me more than straight girls do? Yeah, look, okay, I'm again like I joke about this, but
Because gay men are attracted to men and women aren't. Pretty simple.
genuinely my experiences with straight women have consistently been like pretty negative. I just think the issue is that like
Well, you are an incel, so what can I say?
I don't know. It really does feel like, and this isn't all of them, but it really does feel like a lot of straight women don't like guys that much. They just like a lot of the social prestige and status associated with being with a guy. But they
Shut up, you misogynist. Here, I want to hear from just a minute. I want to hear from Spider the Fanatic. Um, have you considered like treating women like human beings, Vosh? Thank you, Spider. Tell this incel how it goes.
they don't seem to like lust after guys. That's the thing, okay? Because a lot of people do this thing where it's like,
Don't generalize, bro. You're generalizing a whole gender or sex.
women don't actually like sex the same way and women don't like looking at dicks or whatever. And it's like maybe you're
Maybe they're just not into you, dude. Maybe it's because you're an incel and you give them the ick.
women, okay? I don't want to be with a chick who's like, "Oh, sex time." Okay. Like if I'm going to be with a chick, she has to be a disgusting hornball like me. I'm not well, like I'm not having a girlfriend who's like fucking
How dare you put standards onto the opposite sex, you incel?
restrained on the issue, right? But a lot of straight women seem I think a lot of it is like internalized misogyny or sex shaming or whatever because they were because like all women were like beaten by their moms growing up and be like
So beating by their mothers is misogyny. You mean misandry, right? This incel can't even get his language right.
telling them that like all men are terrible, like never put out for men because they'll disrespect you the moment you put out for them. So
Well,
like
all their mothers are doing this. That means the women don't like men, according to you. So women don't like men. They beat their daughters, and they in turn don't like men. So where did it start, right?
as a consequence of this trauma, it makes them incredibly boring and difficult to deal with or whatever. I don't know why being bi
Okay, so women not liking men isn't just natural to them. They all gotten trauma from their mothers.
seems to fix this, and it probably doesn't for a lot of them. But yeah, I don't know. It's just it's very annoying. I would never want to be in a relationship with a person who felt like it's not even like sex is a chore. I just like they got to be there for that shit, man. Could be that a lot more people are asexual than they realize. Yeah, this is
You're just supposed to love them for themselves, dude. Love them for their minds, you incel.
a big like dead bedroom trope where like a girl will be like a girl will put out a lot and then when they get married they'll all of a sudden stop and it turns out the only reason they were putting up with sex was because they were trying to get into a marriage, man, that
Wow, it's a trope. Yeah, that's never happened, right?
that sucks. Hey guys, I'm hitting you guys with the big T truth here, okay? For one, fuck before marriage. Seriously, you don't know what's going to go wrong if you don't. And for two, if it ever feels like
What does it, how is that going to fix anything, incel? If she's pretending to like you until you get committed. So banging her beforehand doesn't change anything. Man, Vosh really is an incel. He really doesn't know how the opposite that sex works at all.
a person that you're with is withholding sex from you or being dishonest about their sex drive or whatever, massive red flag top to
But
them
this isn't about sex drive. This is are they turned on by you, period, right?
directly. Because it's there are so many like fucking posts in the r/sex subreddit when my feed is blighted enough to get those recommended to it, where it's like, hey, I have the perfect relationship, except we have sex once every 3 months, and every time I bring up sex, which is every other day, she says she has a headache. And it's like,
Well, yeah, I guess you're admitting, incel, that women aren't into men. Thank you. Thank you for taking this mask down.
Fuck, dude. God damn, man. Is it over for the heteros? It was a long time ago. Yeah, that makes sense. Cutie with a great sword. I'm
Dude, what do you mean the heteros like you aren't one? Vosh, you've got a girlfriend. You're supposedly a pansexual, but you went for a heterosexual relationship. So is it just that you're an incel and you gained enough status, you finally were able to bribe a woman into your life? And all this pansexual nonsense is you grifting a bunch of suckers?
being a little essentialist when I say like all straight. It's not all straight women, but it is definitely an issue that I see more with straight women.
Well, you're
Maybe
full of shit, dude, because let me tell you something. Lesbian bed deaths, is it even real, right? There's a hackneyed cliche that I fear might be true. If it's true, then it's not a cliche, let alone hackneyed. It's just the truth. Lesbian bed death, just like jokes about urge to merge, that is moving in after one date. Lesbian deathbed is a concept that many women and people who identify as women deal with day in, day out. And it's everywhere, right? So it's a cliche, but it's true. Right. Right. So this has nothing to do with straight women, does it, incel? Incel Vosh. I mean, if you weren't an incel, you would know how gender dynamics work, and you don't because you're an incel. Women aren't that into sex, period. Such as straight women, the lesbians eventually get bored of it too with one another. You need the man who engages with it.
being bi or pan or whatever tends to like there's a correlation between that and
Yeah,
having
but you're not bi or pan because you're in a heterosexual relationship. So whatever you've been claiming is horseshit.
liberated attitude towards sex. So women who are bi or pan are more likely to not buy into the like. I imagine it'd be pretty difficult to be a pan woman who also feels like all that like internalized self hate about being sexual or whatever. Because like you're being pan, like you've already sort of crossed
Women don't have any self-hate. They just hate men. They're just turned on by men. That's what you're admitted. That's what you admitted in Cell at the first.
one barrier. Not impossible, just it seems like a correlation. Vosh being a woman sucks because the thing that stops you from getting pregnant also lowers your sex drive. Depends on the woman. Also,
That what woman said that, claimed that is lying. She's outright lying. Women have an innate disgust of men. They're sexually attracted to us, but they despise us at the same time. That's what's going on here.
to be clear, I'm not saying you're bad if you have a low sex drive. There's a difference between having a low sex drive, which is fine. People are literally built different. That's fine. There's a difference between having a low sex drive and being weird about or put off by sex. Does that make any sense? Like even if you
Are
have
they put off by sex or are they just put off by you? Because if your claim that bisexual women are and pansexual women are more into it, all that means is they're attracted to women and they're willing to have sex with women more than men.
a low so let me give you an example. It's going to sound gratuitous, but I mean this, and I think most people would agree if they could see past sort of the juvenility of the topic. If I have a relationship going on, it's a banging chick, and she doesn't have that high of a sex drive, that is an issue for me.
This sounds like getting beyond the juvenility of this, or whatever he said. Let's get beyond the juvenile. Now, if you see this chick with a banging hot bod,
Right? Don't To be fair, but let's say that it wasn't, let's say that like I'd be okay with sex like once or twice a week or whatever. Like, let's say that's fine. Okay. So, you know, the,
well, you have no choice, right? If she's not into you.
in that context, right, there's a difference between having a GF who would be like kind of weird about being touched and one who you could like go up behind them when they're brushing their teeth and just like fucking aggressively squeeze them all over. You know what I
Well,
mean?
if they're weird about being touched, they don't like you, dude. They're not turned on by you. You're a sucker.
Again, it's a personal preference thing. But you ever get that? Now, I haven't dealt with this personally, but I know because from you hear from other people like stories
Josh, Josh, I'm calling him Josh now. Vaush, he's dealt with this. He's an incel. He's an unattractive guy. He's dealt with this constantly in his lifetime.
or whatever, that there are some people like you're in a relationship with them, but you grab their ass and they get weird about that. That to me, again, not saying if you don't like that there's something wrong
Not weird, turned off. The woman you did that to is disgusted by you.
with you, but there's like different layers here that isn't just having a high or a low sex drive. It's more like a general aversion to or discomfort with anything related to sex or intimacy that I see more, at
Yeah,
least
you see, he's not talking about personal experience, guys. He's just guessing as a pansexual, bisexual man who's in a heteronormative relationship with a woman.
anecdotally, from het women, but yeah, I don't
How
know.
can you speak anecdotally? This never happened to you.
I think a lot of it's probably like a mental barrier to overcome, and a lot of it probably just is like authentically not being interested, which is fine. Again, personal preferences. I think a lot
So you would get together with a woman you want to have sex with, knowing that she's not into it. Okay, incel.
of it depends on the emotional strength and intimacy of the relationships. Again, I just want to be clear in the fact that like just because I don't like that doesn't mean like if your partner has a lower sex drive or an aversion to sex or whatever, like something that's
What
bothering
do
you,
you mean, whatever? Those are two different things. There's difference between only getting horny once a month and actually getting turned off by you getting near them.
you know, the correct response to this is always to talk with them, not to like shame them for their preferences.
Well, genius, talk with them and do what? How is talk? Hey, incel, how is talking with them? Suppose you talk with your girlfriend. She says, "Yeah, you really turn. I can't stand you touching me." Where do you go from there, incel? Where do you go from there? He may as well say, "Go to therapy."
because they got a lower sex drive. What are you gonna do? Fucking assault them? Like what's don't be a
Well,
dipshit.
you can leave. You say, "Okay, you're not the person for me." How about that, genius? Hey, incel, how come you jump right from either being a beggar or assaulting a woman? Why is it they're not the calm, okay, I'm leaving this relationship. I'm breaking up with you. That's an option. Or maybe it's not an option for incels.
Just talk with them. Talk. A lot of people are so averse to talking. Also, a big straight. No, it's not just a big straight person thing. Gay people also don't like talking with each other. That generally happens when you've experienced being abused. Yeah, it's been known to
Oh,
happen.
it's the old abuse thing, right? So these lesbians incel who experienced the deathbed, right? Did they all suffer uh, abuse from other women? Is that it?
For sure. And that's like a get therapy thing. You ever like this is
There you go, guys. Get therapy. What if she says, "I don't need therapy. I'm all right as I am. Just go and pay my bills, you incel wage slave."
one of those this is one of those like it's always like a touchy subject or whatever, but I have known people like this. Sometimes a person's been assaulted or treated poorly or whatever, them motherfuckers got to go to therapy. If they resist going to therapy, like you got to tell them to go to therapy.
Really?
Like
So if your girlfriend doesn't put up for you and finds you disgusting, which she probably does, you're going to tell her to go to therapy. And what if she refuses? Are you going to tell them to break up, incel?
if you've got like a partner who was like assaulted in the past or whatever, sometimes because people are very averse to like working on those issues because it hurts and that's how it is, but it's also
Well,
kind
this
of
is all bizarre because earlier you were going on about saying what was that again? Straight women aren't into men, right? Let's hear that again.
why does it feel like gay guys appreciate me more than straight girls do? Yeah, look, okay, I'm again like I joke about this, but genuinely, my experiences with straight women have consistently been like pretty negative. I just think the issue is that like I don't know. It really does feel like, and this isn't all of them, but it really does feel like a lot of straight women don't like guys that much. They just like
Okay, so this has nothing to do with being abused or therapy, is it? You are admitting the facts at the beginning, and then you're trying to renege. Man, this is this incel is pathetic. Oh my God. This is awesome. Anyway, thank you, Vosh, for admitting what you are, an incel. And you've had shit luck until you became somebody on the internet. You finally bribed some female into your life who probably uses you. Thank you. It's always nice when someone admits the truth.